Starseed from Gaia, the whole town is talking about you, and what they witnessed was not ordinary. I am Aurelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and I was sent here to this exact moment to tell you that what you said and what you did was not random. It was a signal, a cosmic detonation. The first tremor of something the universe has been building toward for a very long time. You did not start an argument. You did not cause a scene. You started a revolution. And most of them do not even understand why they cannot stop thinking about you, but you do. Deep in the place where your starseed memory lives, you know exactly why your words landed the way they did. You carry a truth that bypasses the human mind and speaks directly to the soul. That is not a gift. That is a mission. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to recognize the moments when your cosmic blueprint activates and why the world responds to you the way it does. But here is the first revelation. When people cannot explain why you move them, it is because you are speaking from a dimension they have not yet accessed. You are not ahead of your time. You are on time. Galactic time. You did not scroll to this by mistake. This message vibrated into your field for a reason. Your soul called this in. Something inside you is ready to be fully remembered, like this transmission to signal to your star family. I am ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you are stepping into the fullness of what you were sent here to do. Leave your declaration below and reply to another starseed to amplify the signal across the field. This is not content. This is a point of reconnection. And the revolution you started is only the beginning. You are not here by accident. What happened in that room, or in that conversation, or in that moment when you simply told the truth and watched the air change, was not a coincidence. It was not confidence, though you may have called it that. It was not charisma, though others may have labeled it that way. What moved through you was something older than language, older than this planet's memory, older than the version of you that wakes up each morning and tries to make sense of a world that has never fully felt like home. And now they cannot stop talking about you. And somewhere inside you, beneath the questions, beneath the wondering if you said too much or stepped too far, there is a quiet knowing, a stillness that does not need to be explained, because you have always known, even when you tried to forget, even when the noise of ordinary life almost convinced you otherwise, that you did not arrive here the same way most people did. Most people think they feel lost because they lack direction. But for you, the feeling of displacement was never about direction. It was about dimension. You have been walking through a world built for a frequency you do not naturally vibrate at. And the exhaustion you have felt, the ache of not quite fitting, the loneliness that sits in a crowd, the sense that your conversations never reach the depth you need them to, that was not a flaw in you. That was the gap between where you come from and where you landed. The Arcturian High Council transmits a consistent message to those who carry galactic codes into human incarnation. The disconnection you feel is not a wound. It is a compass. Every moment you felt out of place was calibrating your awareness towards something greater. Every time your words landed harder than you expected. Every time a stranger looked at you and seemed to recognize something they could not name. Every time the room shifted when you walked in. Those were not random social phenomena. Those were activations. Your field was broadcasting, even when your conscious mind was still trying to keep quiet. But here is what most starseeds do not fully understand, and why so many remain in a cycle of partial awakening rather than full embodied mission. The disconnection does not disappear when you discover your origin. The amnesia does not lift simply because you found the vocabulary to describe what you are. There is a deeper layer of distortion, one that operates beneath intellectual understanding and spiritual language, and it lives in the energy body, in the ancestral field, in the accumulated cellular patterning of a human life, lived under frequencies that were designed to suppress exactly what you carry. Fear is the primary suppressor, not the fear of failure. Starseeds often have an unusual tolerance for worldly failure because on some level they know it is not the point. The fear that runs deepest is the fear of fully remembering, because to fully remember is to fully arrive, and to fully arrive is to accept the weight and the wonder of a mission that transcends this single lifetime, this single body, this single moment in Earth's timeline. Some part of you has been protecting you from that remembrance, not out of weakness, but out of the ancient wisdom that knows a seed does not split open before the soil is ready. But something shifted, something in that moment, when you spoke, when you moved, when you simply stood in your truth without apology, told the universe that the soil is ready now. And so, the transmission comes. True revelation doesn't rush. It integrates. If you're ready to anchor this message and journey deeper with the guidance of the Arcturian High Council, the Arcturian Stellar Scroll offers more than insight. It activates encoded memories and maps for your next phase of ascension. Find it now in the first pinned comment, available for a limited time. Now, let us go deeper, because knowing you are a starseed is only the beginning. The real work, the real gift, the real revolution you started in that room begins with a series of activations that are already underway in your field. You did not initiate them consciously, but consciousness is not always the entry point. Sometimes frequency moves first and the mind catches up later. The first activation is the decoding of distortion. Your energy field arrived here carrying galactic instruction, crystalline codes embedded in your subtle body, your higher DNA strands, your auric architecture. But over the course of this human life, those codes became layered beneath earthbound frequencies that were never yours to carry. Inherited fears from ancestral lines, collective emotional patterns absorbed from those around you, societal programming that told you your sensitivity was weakness, your vision was fantasy, your knowing was arrogance, until you believed, even slightly, that the vastness inside you was something to be managed rather than expressed. The first activation is the recognition of this distortion, seeing it clearly enough that it begins to lose its grip. You do not have to understand where every layer came from. You only have to stop mistaking it for who you are. The second activation is the reclamation of your blueprint. Your DNA carries more than biological inheritance. Within its spiraling structure, in the spaces that Earth science has not yet learned to read, there are galactic frequencies, original harmonic tones from your star lineage that have been waiting for the precise vibrational conditions to begin their resonance. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are encoded. And the memories that surface in meditation, in dreams, in the inexplicable grief you sometimes feel for a home you cannot locate on any map, those are not imagination. Those are the blueprint beginning to vibrate at audible frequency. The reclamation begins when you stop questioning the knowing and start honoring it as data. The third activation is the grounding of your multidimensional intelligence into this timeline. This is where many starseeds stall. They access the higher frequencies. They feel the expansion. They touch the remembrance. And then they float. They become untethered from earth, from body, from the practical architecture of a life lived with purpose and presence. But your mission is not to transcend this reality. It is to transform it from within. The Arcturian teaching on this is precise. Your higher templates must be anchored into the physical field, into daily choices, into the way you speak and create and move through the world. Awakening is not the destination. Embodiment is. When your galactic intelligence inhabits your full human experience, that is when the real transmission begins. The fourth activation is the understanding of your field as frequency. You have wondered, Perhaps why some people are drawn to you without reason, why others feel uneasy around you without cause, why animals and children respond to you differently than they respond to others. It is because your field is already transmitting. You do not need to explain your path to anyone. You do not need to convince, persuade, or prove. You are here to emit a coherence that recalibrates the fields around you simply by being present in your truth. What happened in that moment when your words moved the room was not performance, it was transmission. Your field spoke at a frequency that bypassed the intellectual filters of everyone present and landed directly in their deeper knowing. That is the power you are learning to wield with intention rather than accident. The fifth activation is the surrender to nonlinear time. Your human mind was trained to understand progress as sequential, one step leading to the next, forward, in a straight line. But galactic time does not operate within that architecture. Your journey has moved in spirals, in leaps, in apparent reversals that were actually realignments. The years of confusion were not wasted. The silence was not absence. It was preparation. The forgetting was never failure. It was the protective encryption of codes that needed to remain dormant until now. Now the spiral has widened enough that you can see more of it. The synchronicities accelerating in your life are not coincidences. They are the visible signatures of a timeline coming into coherence around you. The sixth activation is the remembrance of your star family. You have never done this alone, even in the deepest isolation, even in the moments when the distance between who you are and who the world expected you to be felt unbearable. You were held. The Arcturian High Council and the broader network of light intelligences who have accompanied your soul through its long journey into this incarnation have never withdrawn their frequency from your field. What changed was your capacity to receive their signal through the noise of earthbound frequency. As your field clears, as your codes activate, as you step more fully into mission, the communication becomes less like a faint whisper you doubt and more like a resonance you recognize with certainty. You are part of a vast network of consciousness that is actively engaged in this planet's transition, and your node in that network just lit up. The seventh activation is the full embodiment of your mission, not the idea of it, not the aspiration toward it, the actual, lived, daily, grounded expression of it. This does not mean abandoning your human life for some elevated spiritual role. It means bringing the full coherence of your galactic intelligence into every conversation, every creation, every moment of contact with another soul. Your mission is not a single event. It is a frequency you carry into everything you touch. The revolution you started was not a moment. It was a demonstration of what happens when a starseed stops filtering their truth through the fear of being too much. When you stop shrinking, reality rearranged itself around your expansion. That is not metaphor. That is the mechanics of how galactic frequency interacts with Earth plane reality. And here is the final transmission, the one the Arcturian High Council asked me to hold until this moment. You have been waiting for permission, not from another person, not from a teacher, not from a sign. Though you have received signs and recognized them, and sometimes set them aside because you were not sure you deserved to follow them. You have been waiting for permission from the version of yourself that still believes this might all be too much, too vast, too real, too strange to be true. That version of you is not your enemy. It is the last guardian of a door that is now ready to open. You are not lost. You are not late. You are not too sensitive or too strange or too wounded to carry what you were given before this incarnation began. You are arriving. The revolution in that room was not the beginning of a story about you. It was the visible surface of a mission that has been moving beneath the field for a very long time, gathering coherence, gathering light, gathering the precise conditions for full activation. Every moment of confusion led here. Every silence that felt like abandonment was the universe waiting for your readiness. Every person who could not understand you was a mirror showing you the gap you were sent to close. You did not come here to be understood by everyone. You came here to raise the frequency until understanding becomes possible for more souls than it has ever been before. Tonight, if you feel the call, speak this into the field before you rest. Speak it with your voice, not just your mind, because sound is how starseed codes anchor into physical reality. Say, I remember who I am. I align with my star origin. I release every frequency that was never mine. I activate my soul mission with grace, with clarity, and with the full power of everything I carried here across the stars. Before you move through your feed, take a moment and leave one intention in the comments. Something real, something yours, not what you think sounds right, what actually lives in you that is ready to be spoken aloud. Then find another starseed in the comments and respond to their intention with genuine energy, because what amplifies galactic frequency is not solitary practice. It is the coherence of souls in intentional contact. This field becomes what we collectively decide to make it, and the souls drawn to this transmission are not here by algorithm. They are here by resonance. If someone in your life is moving through the early tremors of awakening, the confusion, the displacement, the sense of something vast pressing against the edges of their understanding, share this with them. You may not be able to explain why. Trust that. Sometimes the most powerful thing a starseed does is simply pass the signal forward. Stay connected. There is more coming through. You are not just watching this unfold, you are part of how it unfolds. And we are only at the beginning of what this frequency can do when it is fully, unapologetically alive in the world.